Okay, so let's get started today. So today we're gonna go through our sensory word list, right? And we're gonna go through ways to add details to a story. All right, these are things we have done before, so it's just gonna be revision. All right, so let's get started. Let me share the page. All right, did you get this in your mom's email? Did your mom send you this list?
Yes, miss.
Right. And what were the instructions? What you were supposed to do?
So,
Huh?
I think I was supposed to write out it and then give a meaning.
No. You were supposed to go through it and all the words that you do not know, you are to find it in your dictionary and write those out. Right? You're not writing out all of them because some of them you would know. Right? So you're just looking at the ones that you don't know, and the ones that you don't know are the ones you're gonna look and look for in your dictionary. All right. So let's go through the list. Let's see how many words you do know. All right. So we're looking at sensory words list, right? So every day we should always work on improving our vocabulary. That's why it's always important to read different things, different books, right? You're reading a newspaper, you're looking for words, new words you've never seen before. Right? The more vocabulary you have, the more interesting and more creative your essays will become. And so you're using the sensory words to help provide more details and examples to your writing. All right, and you could even add to this list if you know more other words. Right, so let's look at some of the words in sight. So read through those words to me.
Blurry, blurred, brilliant, colorless, dazzling, dim, dingy, faded, faint, flashy, gaudy, funny,
Glance,
glance, gleaming, glimpse, glistening, glittering, glossy,
gloomy,
glow, gloomy, glossy, glowing,
glossy,
glossy, glowing, creamy, hazy,
grimy, grimy,
grimy, hazy, indistinct, mist, misty, pale, radiant, shadowy, shimmering, shiny, smudged, sparkling, streaked, striped, tarnished, twinkling.
good. Right? So, oh, look at how many different words you can use if you have to describe what something looks like. Right? So you don't have to use bright. You don't have to use tall. You don't have to use dark. Right? You can look at a whole list of words here that you could use. Lots of synonyms that you could use. Right? All right, let's go through the words for sound.
Barrel, glare, buzz, cackle, cheer, clamor, clang, crackle, creak, rumble, gurgle, hiss, howl, hush,
Jabber,
jabber, mumble, murmur, mutter, rant, rave, roar, rumble, rustle, screech, squeak, shrill, sizzle, snarl, squawk, squeal, swish, fud, thump, whimper, yell.
yelp. Very good. So we have a whole list of words that describe different sounds, right? So instead of only screech or scream, right, we have all of these different words to describe different types of sound, right? So maybe different types, different volumes, maybe the length of the sound, if it was a long sound, if it was a short sound, if it was a quiet sound, if it was a loud sound, right? That sound that just you just heard there from my chair. We have different words to describe different sounds. All right, let's look at the words to describe touch, so how things would feel, right? Especially the weather or objects, how they feel to the touch. Okay, go ahead. Balmy,
Lammy, biting, bristly, bumpy, chilly, coarse, cold, cool, curly, creepy, cuddly, dusty, feathery,
feverish,
feverish, fluffy, fuzzy, gooey,
furry. You forgot
furry,
furry. Mm-hmm.
fuzzy, gooey, fishy, gritty, hairy, hot, ice, limp,
Icy,
icy, limp, floppy, moist, oily, powdery, prickly, scratchy, sugary, silky, slimpy, slippery,
slimy,
slimy, slippery, spongy, springy, squashy, sticky, sweaty, velvety.
velvety, right? And you realize most of them end in Y, right? So they're adverbs, right? They're describing how, right? Adverbs describe how things would feel. All right, let's look at taste. Let's look at all these words for taste. So instead of it tastes good, it tastes nice, right? We have different words for taste now. Go ahead. Appetizing.
Appetizing, acrid,
What?
uh,
Taste,
appet,
taste.
uh, appetizing, bitter, bland, creamy, delectable, delicious, flavorful, flavorless, gingery, luscious,
Luscious, luscious.
luscious, nauseating,
Nauseating.
nauseating, palatable,
Pala,
pepper,
pal, yeah, I'm saying
peppery, piquant,
palatable, palatable,
well,
palatable,
peppery, piquant,
pecan,
refreshing, piquant, refreshing, ripe, rotten, salty, savory, scrumptious, sharp, sour, sour, taste, sour, spicy, spoiled, stale, sugary, sweet, tangy, tasteless, tasty, unappetizing, unripe, vinegary, yummy,
vinegary, vinegary.
vinegary, yummy, zesty.
Very good. All right. Okay, and look at the last category now. Smell. How to describe different smells. So you don't have to always say, it smells sweet, right? You could use these words here. So go ahead.
Smell, acrid, aromatic, heated, foul smelling, fragrant, moldy, musty, nitrous, odoriferous, odorless, old, perfumed, pungent, putrid, rancid,
Rancid,
rank, reeking, scented, smells, spicy, stento, sweet,
steno, or
you know,
steno,
sweet,
wa-
waft, with
whiff. Right. Right. So we have different words here, like steno. You've ever heard of steno before?
hummus.
Right. So that's what I want you to do. You're gonna go through the list on your own, right? And the words that you don't know, you've never heard before, just write those out. Or even next to it, if mom prints this out for you, uh, just write the meaning next to it. Right? So well, I have a prompt for you for maybe not tomorrow, for Thursday. Right? And I want to see some of these new words that we have. in the prompt. Okay?
Okay, miss.
All right. Right. Good. So we have ways to add details to a story. All right. So what are some important story elements that we know? What are some details you can add to a story? So you have a story here. So let's do a box here. Right? So let's pretend. Oh, that's the worst box ever. Let's pretend, right? This is your story. So you have your title here, and this is your story. Right? How do we add details to a story? What are the things we add to it? What are some of the ingredients we add to a story to make it interesting, to make it creative? What are some of the elements of a story, maybe? Right? Story elements. You could give me um, the different ways to add details. So maybe some of the descriptive language. Right? What are some of the ways? Let me hear. How we add some details to a story. We learned some techniques last term. So let me hear what you remember.
Alliteration. Is alliteration. Um, um, a babbling.
A what?
A babbling.
Bada bing. Mm-hmm. What are the methods we can do to add? Or what are ways you could add? What other thing?
A metaphor.
Uh-huh. You just tell me. Alice, I'm just writing. You tell me all you know.
A simile. Or onomatopoeia. Uh, hyperbole.
Mm-hmm.
Imagery.
Ah, was another way?
Imagery.
Mm-hmm. Right? Imagery or sensory words, same thing. And some other ways to add some details to your story. What are some other ways we could use? What else can we use? All right, so all of these fall under descriptive language, right? You have your descriptive adjectives, right? And adverbs too. All right, so all this is under descriptive language. Good. So what about the story elements? Talk to me about the story elements. What are the main parts of a story? You're writing 5 paragraphs. So tell me, let's look at the plot first and then let's look at the elements. What are the 5 main parts of the plot?
Elements are
No, do the plot. Do the 5 main parts of a plot.
plot,
What does the plot contain?
introduction,
All right.
the rise action,
Mm-hmm.
climax,
Climax. Mm-hmm.
all in action,
Mm-hmm.
conclusion.
And the conclusion. All right, what are the main story elements? Story elements. What do you mean elements of a story? Every story must have these 5 things. What are they?
Um,
All right, I'll give you a clue. So one of them is,
character,
okay, right. I was going to say something else, but characters.
mm,
What's the other thing you need? I'll give you a hint. It starts with S.
setting,
All right. So we need to know who is in the story and what are they like? What do they do? What do they think? What do they say? How do they act? Right, we need the setting of the story, where and when the story occurs. Right, we need to have maybe even a time frame, the weather, the location, the environment, as much details as we can include. What else?
plot,
Right, we must have the plot or the beginning, middle, and the end. Okay, what else? I'll give you a hint. One starts with P and one starts with S.
yes, for plot.
You can't put plot twice. You have to do different things.
Yes, I don't know.
You must have a problem. And if you have a problem, what must you have? A problem always goes with a what? A solution,
Uh,
right? Another thing we're missing too, transition words. So even the grammar parts. If we look at the different types of grammar, right? So under grammar, you would have transition words. Words or phrases like suddenly, then, next, afterwards, therefore, in the end, finally. All right, those are transition words. All right, always check your spelling and punctuation. Spelling. All right, make sure you have the commas in the right place. You don't have long run off sentences. You have your conjunctions in the right place. All right. What are the coordinating conjunctions? What are the fanboys? Give me what the fanboys are. What are the fanboys?
Fanboys.
What are they? Hmm? What are the fanboys?
Uh, and
Honestly, I'm writing the prompt in the meantime. Go ahead. I'm listening. What are the fanboys? Hmm. All right. So we have our prompt here. So let's start brainstorming how we're gonna write or what we're gonna include in this prompt here. All right. So let's look at some ideas. So we have to brainstorm and plan. Now we know we have to have 5 paragraphs. Right. So we definitely need a hook. All right. We need to start with a hook. So if you want to say paragraph number 1. All right. We need the hook in our intro. Um, some sort of ways to describe our setting. We need to talk about our characters. Right. All right. So let me give you some ideas we could look at. All right. So we need to describe the meeting up with Dale at the beginning of school, and the discovery that the mangoes for the chow are missing. Right. So I'll put that over here. All right. So you meet up with Dale. Oh no. Mangoes missing. Right. Then we have to think of what else. Then you have to think about what did you or Dale know and suggest the group of friends plan. All right. What was the suggestion? So you all are brainstorming. So suggestions on what to do. To do. All right. Describe in detail the action, making it very interesting or unexpected. All right. So suggestions on what to do. How were you able to get the oranges? Right? Or were you able to get the oranges? That's a big question. Did you all get the oranges? Right? That's the main question here. Did you all get the oranges? All right. And if you did, what happened? If you did not, what happened? So it all leads to what happened. So this is the climax of your story. What happened?
Um,
Mm-hmm.
climax.
So yes, you're gonna think of what happened. All right, so either good or bad or funny. You can make it at any of those. Give clear details in the main parts of your writing and add dialogue. Oh, we forgot dialogue. To develop your character and other characters. Now you're not gonna put too much dialogue, right? Because it's an essay. You can probably use 4 to 5 lines of dialogue max, right? And as always, you're gonna write your draft, review it carefully, add, remove, move or substitute ideas, and use better vocabulary and grammar. Pay close attention to your spelling and punctuation as you edit and publish to improve, right? Especially when you're doing practice essays. Your first essay is not always your best essay, right? So your assignment for tomorrow, not not Tuesday. We could do this for tomorrow. You're gonna give me a first draft of this story here. All right, a first draft. So by and then every day we will work on it and get it better and better. So by Thursday, Thursday would be the best version of your story. All right. So you let me hear some of the ideas you have. So I give you some suggestions of what you could do. So let me hear some of the ideas that you have.
Um, yes, I could say that's how probably
Or you can even brainstorm like vocabulary words that you want to include or anything. You just brainstorm. You just, whatever you think of it, read the prompt and you tell me what are some of the ideas you could add. So I give you some, so you give me some. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'll just write it on the side here. Right? So what are some of the ideas that you have?
Miss Miss Deal could have probably like his parents could have probably refused to give him the mangoes.
What is that?
Miss it said that how he got the mangoes from his parents, but what if his parents probably refused to give him the mangoes?
If your parents give him the mangoes, so how would we make that into an interesting story? If your parents just give him the mangoes.
No, like no, I said this like don't give him the mangoes. Like She
Right, that's what it
started.
says. Unfortunately, he forgot the mangoes in his parents' car, so his parents dropped him to school and they left. Parents not coming back, right? So when listen, look at the prompt. Unfortunately, he forgot all the mangoes in his parents' car. However, a yard near to your school has a laden orange tree. Oranges will do just fine, they suggested, and you agreed. Write a story about these ideas, what happened at lunchtime, and how it all ended. Right, so you know your story, you have to have your intro, which is what we did here. So there's your intro here. So I could take that off. Right, that easy for you to fill out. Right, there's your intro here. This is paragraph one. Paragraph two, right, your rise in action. All right, so talk to me about what do you think that could happen in this paragraph. What's the rise in action supposed to include? What is that supposed to be about? What is the rise in action about?
About when the story started getting interesting.
All right, so the story now starts getting interesting. So what are some of the details we could add to that? All right, what are some of the things we know it has to be a build up, right? So what are some of the things we could, or some of the ideas that could build up,
Um,
right? So they suggested, so you could probably include this line here for in your rise in action, right? Oranges will do just fine. They suggested and you agreed. Okay, so what is the plan to get to the yard? But so you could probably just let's talk about the plan to get to the yard. To get all right, because that is going to include you leaving school. And you know you're not supposed to leave your school compound. So you have to figure out, hey, how am I gonna do that? What? All right, how am I gonna do that? What are some ideas you can think of what you can do? All right. Okay, we run out of time. So paragraph two is your rise in action. Paragraph three, your climax. What is your climax gonna be? What's the problem? What goes wrong? Raydan, what's the problem? What goes wrong?
Is when you didn't get the mangoes from the car.
No, that passed already. That's not the climax of the story. This is the prompt, right? That is already passed. He not getting any mangoes. That is going on. That's not the issue here. The issue here is he wants to get these oranges from the tree near your schoolyard. No, from a tree in a yard next to your school. So that is what you need to focus on. Forget the mangoes. That already gone. Your parents are coming back. All right. So the climax is so you're planning, you and your friend, you and they are planning this great plan scheme to get these mangoes. All right. You'll talk about what is your plan to get the mangoes. Right? Let's assume that you actually get to the yard. What is the big climax? What happens? What goes wrong?
So when he sealed the oranges from the tree,
Okay, so he seals the oranges. And what happens?
um, and he takes them um to make gel,
Huh?
and he takes the oranges to his class to make gel.
So that's it? Nothing else happened? What you have to make that interesting? That's all. You go on next somebody's yard and thief the oranges and nothing happens. He comes out like nothing happens.
No, no, miss.
No, right. So that's what you need to put. You need to put a problem. Right? You need to put a problem here. That's the climax is about. That will make your story interesting. If you just go back and makes it show, that's real lame. Right? You need to have a problem. Right? And then your paragraph 4, that's your fall in action. Right? So they're starting to solve the problem. Something, right? You're solving the problem here. And in your final paragraph, you're either learning a lesson, right? You're ending the story. So end. So you either learn a lesson, maybe there's a moral to the story, right? Or a surprise twist or ending, something, right? So we need to know how the story is going to end. All right, so I need you to take this down. Everything that you see on the screen, take it down. All right, so tomorrow you're going to give me a first draft of this story here. I want all 5 paragraphs. I want your first attempt tomorrow. So you'll type it up and send it for me, the usual, and then we'll go through it, correct it, edit it, and then you're gonna improve it. All right. So take this down for me. Everything on your